Hey YouTube, this is Dave at Richter Scale Studios. Welcome to part 9 and probably the last part of the Tale of Two Dreads. You're looking at some last minute details I just threw together and painted up. I'm going to put them on the dreads in a second. They are some purity seals. I just drug out of my bit box and threw some ivory colors and some reds and some pinks. Did a little bit of wash and some wet blending on them just to give them a little bit of look. The text, I would say it's mediocre at best. So I just wanted to show those to you real quick before I throw them on there. And the dreads have been, let's see if I can get this up a little bit. There we go. Let's get this focused. Over there, let's see, I'll bring it in a little bit better. There we go. There are the dreads. Those brought them up from upstairs, or from downstairs up here. Just hit them with the anti-shine, a little bit of Tester's dull coat, and some Army Painter anti-shine. Take down that glistening from the gloss coat from the oil paint, and looks pretty good. I think I'm still going to go into these later, and there'll be another section of this part, and darken those barrels up a little bit on the front to give them a little more interest, and maybe shade them a little bit. So that'll be it for this section, and then we'll be back in a second or two. Thank you for joining me. Hey, we're back, and I just added those little pretty seals to them randomly. Here's the Mark IV. Also, I did the barrels on the autocannons just to kind of change them up a little bit. You can see kind of a duller gray. And did some wet blending and some glazes on them just to just change them up a little bit, make them a little bit dirty. And I might do some pigment on them too, darken them up and run some pigments on other parts of it. So this is want to kind of show you a little roundabout of how these are coming up. They're basically probably 95% done. So he's got his little one right there. I'm kind of put them in different areas on him. He's got his long one that's kind of just dangling in the back. The other one looks like it's kind of flowing off the back. This one's kind of hanging. So far, so good. Excuse me, it's really 1 o'clock in the morning here. So I'm going to call it not a part, just to finish this section here. We're only a couple minutes into this video. So we'll come back and do some pigment on them and get it done. Maybe find some kind of other stuff to add to the bases too. Maybe some different kinds of vegetation. We're getting some ideas and some inspiration in the last few hours. So as usual, we'll see you in the next section, and thank you for joining us. Hey, welcome back to part 9. I'm going to show you how to fix the tufts. I told you how I don't like how cheap these GW ones look. You can see here, you can see the white plastic in there. Not too bad there. We can actually take this guy off the base. And we'll show you how to work on this. It'll appear easier to show. You can see the tufts there. That white plastic all in there. Let me show you one. I just did the Mark V just to kind of practice, and you can't see the plastic on any of these. And I'll show you my little trick. It's not that much of a trick. Probably a lot of people will use this. I've showed this in, I think, one of my terrain pieces. See, in the background here, I have, well, this is the black that's not going to be used in this. I have these 3. I'm mostly using dark earth and the clay brown, and a little bit of alcohol to set it if I need to, but I haven't done that yet. I might on these plants. You don't really need to put anything to set it in. When you hit it with the matte varnish dusting, that'll lock it in usually. So we'll go back down to here and show you the little trick. So let's do this one right here. Keep it out of the shadow. So let's just we're gonna grab some I'm using cheap brushes too. This is an old Army Painter brush. It's all frayed. It's been used for a lot of pigment work. I have a flat edge brush for more detail. Then I have the other round brush to put some alcohol in if I need to lock it in. Got a little, maybe too much, but I can just pick it up and blow on it. And you can already see it kind of basically disappeared. Let's see this other section right here. So you can see right under here. Get in there, just take a good amount. Something that kind of matches your base too. Make sure you're not doing this, you know, if you have some kind of weeds in a gray industrial base, use some gray. And a little bit of brown, then gray around the edges to kind of feather it out so it blends into the surrounding area. There's a little bit of clay brown just to bring back the lighting in a little bit. Just blow on it. And there you go. And it gives it a little more realism. And it takes away that fake plastic. Do one more real quick. Doing the dark earth. Super Web Miniature Dark Earth. Just kind of really just jab it in there between the bristles of the tuft. Maybe take the clay brown and go around the outsides a little bit. And this will add a little more realism to your base too, just a little kind of a dust. And this gives a little, you can just take the clay brown and then kind of just dab it around a little bit. And just adds a little more texture and you know, blending those colors together. We got one more tuft, and that's going to be it. So we'll go in with the dark brown again, or dark earth. This one might be a little more of a problem because it's got a little lip on it, but also the pigment will color that little lip so it doesn't, you don't really see that anymore. This is, I mean, you're with this camera probably 3.5 inches away. I'll blow on it real quick. And maybe dust in some of the clay brown. There you go. So that is it for this little section. I'm going to go finish these up. They're pretty much finished as they are. Just going to have to throw some, like I said, some matte varnish, just dust rattle can on top of it very lightly to lock in. You don't want to spray it too much or saturate it. It'll kill the effect. That's a little trick I learned from Mr. Justin from Secret Weapon Miniatures. And this is going to see this, like, get some more of the clay brown in there and kind of add some more variant to the surrounding earth colors. Because remember, this is like probably 3 or 4 colors of dry brushing, and just kind of just add a little extra realism and especially these rocks. It looks a lot better. It doesn't look so. Let me show you. Take some of that cartoony dry brush look away when it just kind of blends it together, almost like a filter. If you like, those of us who use airbrushes, I've done it many times with models and terrain. You just get, you get your nice highlights and stuff by dry brushing, and just take a light dusting of a paint. So this kind of does that same thing with the pigments, and this adds a little extra realism to it. Like this little section here, it's a little too right, that's a little too much. You see, this kind of blends everything in. You still have your highlights, but it's not so stark. I'm more of a realistic type of modeler. It doesn't have to be really striking colors. Just like, see a little more realism to it. Let's go there with these little rocks. That was too much on the skull, maybe, but just remember, you got your breath. Fix that. Go dust, kind of like a makeup application. So that'll be it for this section. I'll be back with one of the weapons and throw some black on one of those. And as usual, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next. We are back. This is one of the missile launchers from the Dreadnought. And what I'm doing, mix a little bit of alcohol with the black pigment and make it almost like a paint. And this is to do some pouring. Already, we can see in here we already have some of the leftover oil wash to give it that kind of that sooty look. But this is kind of just to give it a little more. Looks like the streaks of smoke, or burning the outside of the missile launcher itself. And just kind of just laying that down in there, and I'm just using the flat brush to just dirty it up a little bit, just to add a little extra weathering to it. I think add a little more. This is a round. These cheap round brushes. When you put a lot of pigment on, they kind of lose their point. So, kind of got to work around that. And just find a point where you want to see where the smoke would all come out. You have these two sets. You look at them. You can maybe just lightly get it from the other side, so the smoke would dissipate the more travel to the back. And there you go. A little bit of smoke damage on there. And just something simple as, see, we'll take the top of this Mark IV, and we have these smokestacks, or the exhausts on the back, right here. Grab some of our straight pigment, just dab it on there, and this kind of takes that sheen down. Just adds, a little bit of realism to it. All directions. And you can, if you wanted to, you can just add a little bit on the edges here. I've sometimes in the past, when I'm using the airbrush, which I'm not right now, you can just get like a clear black or gray and kind of dust it around these areas, just to show that soot that's kind of would develop when these things belch out all that smoke. And I'll do the same thing with these as I did with the bases. I'll just take them outside with a little bit of the Army Painter anti-shine, or any kind of matte varnish will be good, and just lightly dust it. Take it in an area where there's no breeze, no sunlight, and just kind of light dust from maybe 18 inches away. And just to make it look like you can just tell it the varnish is just laying on top of it, not blasting it and causing it to glisten with wetness or anything like that. And that'll keep the pigments from. I'm just putting layer after layer on this so I get the effect I want. And I think that'll be it right there. So that'll be the end of this little section. I'll probably be back with some photographs. Basically these are done. So I'm going to try to get these things photographed on a little display piece. And as usual, thank you for joining me. And we'll see you in the next section. And that'll be the end of part 9 and the Tale of Two Dreads. Thanks for. I just wanted to finish up part 9 right here. I just set up an old piece of terrain, not old. This is the one I did for the battle wagon a while ago. And I went downstairs last night and threw some airbrush paint on some dollar store poster paper. Just kind of give a little setting for the photographs, and I'll kind of actually what I'm doing here. So it's just simple, I just half-assedly just threw some color on a paper. But when you go in close, it kind of gives a good little background setting. So I want to thank everyone for hanging in there to finish up part 9. I'll have a few photographs, so basically you're going to say the same thing, but just some still shots after this. And yeah, they turned out pretty nice for tabletop. I don't know if I'd enter them in a contest or not, but I really love weathering. I really love weathered models, so I'm really happy with that. And I think the last minute thing I did was throw some gloss varnish on the lenses again to make those shine. And that is it. So hopefully be coming to you, or not hopefully, I will be coming to you with a new project in the near future. Maybe doing a pain boy or something like that. And still want to get those Legion of the Damned guys started. I got those helmets you saw in that one unboxing from Anvil Industries. And there's another thing I'm waiting for the sniper team from Anvil. So I want to do something for that. That might be for a future contest. I'm trying to get like a little mini diorama set up with those. That's that idea. So thank you for joining me, and enjoy the few photos, and we'll see you in the next video.